Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped, back for another OPTC video, and in today's video we're diving into the KIZUNA Clash versus WAPOL for the post-10th year anniversary for the Super Evolution of Wano Law. And whilst this is a regular KIZUNA, it's a little bit of a big one because Wano Law has been such a strong character for so long, and I'd highly recommend everyone make sure you get the skulls to super evolve this guy if you are playing the game. And the best way to do that is obviously using the suicide strat. I have put out a shorts for you guys, so if you are unaware of what that strategy actually looks like, search up the suicide strat short stump and you should be able to find that. I'll try to remember to leave a link in all of the videos, but this is the start of a lot of videos that will be coming for this KIZUNA. In today's video, we are building buildable and accessible teams that don't use any of the 10th anniversary legends. They don't use Chopper, they don't use the new rare recruits, they basically do not use any crazy super sugos or anything like that to help you guys take down the 10-star variation of the KIZUNA Clash against WAPOL. So, let's take a look at what WAPOL actually does. Look, 10-star KIZUNA is becoming a bit of a doozy, so it is becoming a little bit harder and harder to build for, but hopefully these teams actually help you out. So, starting off with the Psy variation, and all the teams in today's video are level 30 plus. Like, that's the idea of them. We are going to be trying to take down level 30 plus, but they should easily work up to level 30. Now, on the Psy variation, obviously, Hirolo, Corella, and Chopper are the boosted characters. We're not using any of them, obviously. Slashers, Driven, and Cerebral characters get the cooldowns. On stage 2, there's 5 turns of Paralysis, 7 turns of Pain. Love Pain. 1 turn of Special Reverse, and then after level 30, there's a bunch of different debuffs. There's the Grey Shield, Blow Away Immunity. You take 85% HP cut, 8 turns of Bind on your top row, which will go down to 5 after Sockets. Full immunity except for Paralysis, normal attacks only, an attack down for 90% if you're below 3.5 times chain, 5 turns of defense up, and a intimidation for attack boost and slot effect boost for 2 turns if the targets of the target status effect. So very, very annoying stuff there. Also, if you use the set chain multiplier ability for an unlimited amount of times, you will take 5 turns of attack down, lose your beneficial effects, get a full board of bomb slots, and on death, there's 50,000 damage. So like that 85% HP cut, it does get a little bit more spicy. So the way that we're actually taking this quest down is on turn 2, we're going to utilize the Nami special. Nami is going to remove the paralysis. She gives you cooldowns. She's very, very good for stage 2. Plus she gives you a chain boost and on this turn, because our captain's in, and then she gives you a clock buff so you get it on the next turn. However, you do have Pain, so you got to be careful here. And this is where we have the Shirahoshi Mancherry special. Now, I would recommend holding on to this particular special until the final stage. Because on the final stage, the enemy has obviously that very annoying intimidation, but you take an 85% HP cut. Now, you do want to utilize the Ben Beckman Lucky Roo special on turn 2. So that way you can actually get 3 turns of an orb buff so you avoid the intimidation. And then you also get 3 turns of a chain boundary, so that way you don't trigger the interrupt. What you can actually do as well is you can use, if you're running double queen, I have built this team out in the sense of you are using double queen. If you find a Chopper, hell, use Chopper. But the upside to utilizing queen is you can use his captain action to bypass the despair. And if you use the captain action on both your captains, it means that for that 1 turn, you will not have to worry about it. Queen can then remove the defense up on the final stage, and he's your color affinity booster. Before you do anything when you get to the final stage, though, I would highly recommend utilizing the Shirahoshi Mancherry special. That's going to not only remove the pain, but it's going to give you a massive heal. Their heal gives you 100 times their recovery. Obviously, you've just taken an 85% HP cut, and you need to tank 50,000 damage. So this is a great way of actually doing that. You can remove the pain. You can get a massive heal, and you're in for a fun time there. The final character I have on the team is actually Perona. Perona is an attack booster if you have a color affinity boost. However, I did kind of overlook the fact that there is an intimidation for an attack boost. But the big reason that I put her on the team here is because... Oh, actually, we're not going to get that either. She's pretty much replaceable. Your captains get binded, so if you're using... I guess if you're bringing a Chopper friend captain, she's here to remove the bind. But... if you use the double jump ability of Queen or the invisibility ability, well, that's a weird thing to say, then I would highly recommend replacing Perona with basically any other booster that's going to give you any other buff. An attack boost would be nice if it's multi-turn, Again, it really just depends on what you're cooking. So she's here for the bind. You could run the Legend Chopper is another really good option, because then you could actually get the resistance down as well. That's probably a little bit better, because you are getting 50% extra damage. But like I said, anyone that is going to remove binds and is going to give you some sort of buff is going to be the best option for that. So that's the team that I've got rocking. Should work fairly nicely. Obviously, I will trial these teams once the event does go live as well. Moving on to the next team now. This one's a bit interesting because we are going to utilize a friend captain free-to-play 5+ Luffy. Now, I have included the Luffy on the team, and I'll explain this later, but we are going to use a friend captain as our secondary captain option. But let's take a look at what the kick variation does first. Chopper, Hero Look, and Corella are the recommended characters once again, but we aren't touching them. Free Spirit, Cerebral Powerhouse, get all the good stuff, and on stage 2, your left-hand column takes 5 turns of bind after sockets, 3 turns of hunger, you get a full water recovery orbs, and recovery orbs are turned to damage. Very annoying stuff. After level 31, there is obviously the normal Grey Shield Blow-Away immunity. There's 4 turns of a special use limit of only allowing you to use 2 specials. Your crewmates will get 3 turns of silence, you get 5 turns of an attack boost, orb boost, and chain multiplier at 1.1 respectively. The chain multiplier is obviously at 0.1. It's just basically a 0.1 buff. It's actually bad for you, even though this is a positive buff. They make it really, really bad. 99 turns of full immunity except for delay. 1 turn of defense up, which is massive. Normal attacks only. Your top right-hand corner, so your captain, will get 1 turn of special reverse. There is a attack down if you blow a 3 times chain. And then there's a intimidation for 2 turns, where if you use a color affinity boost or a conditional boost, they will reduce it by 3 turns. If you delay the enemy, though, you're going to take 7 turns of paralysis, but the enemy will remove the very, very annoying stuff. Basically, it'll remove the attack down when below a certain chain multiplier, the crew's attack up, and the slot effect boost will be removed. So you can actually use this to your advantage, delay the enemy, and you'll actually get rid of those very, very annoying things. However, we're not going to do that. We're just not going to do that. The big downside to this particular fight is the special limiter. Now, what you can do is you can actually run double Shanks Buggy here if you guys have level 3 or higher. Now, I understand this tablet is actually very hard to come by, so I've gone into this particular build with the expectation that you guys don't have this maxed out. And like I said, I do understand if you guys don't. I'm trying to make this as buildable and accessible for you guys as humanly possible. But the reason I'm utilizing Shanks and Buggy as captain is because in their captain ability, they say if the crew uses a special to boost type effects, extend that duration by 1 turn, which means that when we actually utilize their special, they will actually turn themselves into a 3-turn attack boost. Color affinity boost, which is the name of the game and why we actually want to use this guy as captain. The rest of the team, or the reason that we're using Luffy as a friend captain, I should say, is because this particular Luffy will just buff everyone, I believe. He might just buff Dex. He buffs everyone at a 4.5 times captain, which is actually really, really good. He makes recovery and tandem while matching, but he also gives an attack and orb boost on special. And this is the big reason we want to use him. He does a 2-turn attack and orb boost for int and dex characters at 2.5. This is then going to be carried into the final stage, and you can bypass that very annoying 1.1 attack and orb boost. Plus, we're also going to use Zoro on this particular stage too. This particular Zoro actually gives you a 3-turn 1.1 chain multiplier buff. So that way, with the Luffy and the Zoro, you can actually carry these buffs into the final stage and not have to worry about removing it and then dealing with the paralysis. With that, you will be absolutely fine in terms of damage output. And the reason we need a second Luffy is so that way we can use the second Luffy special on the final stage to give ourselves an attack and orb boost. But remember, you can only use 2 specials on the final stage. That's where Hiyori comes in. That's where Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo come in. Hiyori has hunger, so she can bypass that. She'll get around the bind. She gives you a full board of Wano slots. She's very, very good to just bypass stage 2. She's been around for a little while, and look, hunger tablets are still hard to come by, but they have been around a lot longer than the limit special. So I feel like a lot of people have her maxed out in hunger. Probably had a few dupes, and you could actually pick her up as your choosable character. So everyone sort of should sort of have her. And then Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo were another selectable character from the 10th anniversary. And the upside to using them is they give you a 3-turn chain multiplier buff at 2.75, maxing at 35 times. With that buff from Zoro too, you guys are going to be absolutely fine. So with this, you're basically using everyone's special on turn 2, and then using a friend captain Luffy on turn 3. Luffy has a super type as well. You can get that because we have Zoro. So you're doing quite a lot of damage here. Plus, with the ability that Zoro has, if you limit break him, he will actually get his special back for his stage 1, which can remove the 1 turn of defense up. If you guys don't have that limit break on Zoro, just do your best to try and find a support that goes on any of these characters for 1 turn of defense up. Off the top of my head, you have Hyo or Guru on Luffy, you have support rare recruit Ace, or you have the free-to-play Tashigi on Zoro. That could work too. I think there's a Cat Viper support for Hiyori as well, so you guys have options there. Moving on to the final variation, we come up against the Int fight of WAPOL, and against the Int variation, Psy, Int, and Dex characters get all the good stuff. On stage 2, there's 3 turns of Super Burn, which means that you take the damage before the end of the turn. Just remember that. Bomb Orbs and a slot barrier for 2 Bomb Orbs. On defeat, you take 30,000 damage, and then after level 31, you have to deal with the regular Grey Shield and Blow Away immunity, a 50% HP cut, 6 turns of Bind after sockets, top row gets 1 turn of Special Reverse, all your healing is turned into damage, poison for 5 turns, at 3,000 poison per damage, which remember, you will take this as you enter the stage. You also have to deal with Poison Orbs, full immunity except for Paralysis, 6 turns of Despair after sockets, 1 turn of Paralysis, normal attacks only, and if you remove the poison and you're below 50% HP, the enemy is going to put up a bind on your crewmates for 5 turns after sockets and put up 5 turns of resilience. So this is just, there's so much going on. Like, there's so much going on here. Like, it's ridiculous. So what we're actually doing here is we are utilizing the double Gear 5 strat. Now, this is the only Super Sugo that I've included in the video, and the reason I've included this particular Super Sugo is because I've been screaming at people to, if you're re-rolling, this is the character you want to go for. If you're a new player, this is the character you need to get your hands on. Like, it just has to happen. Like, just please, for the love of God, get your hands on this Luffy. As for the friend captain, we're using the 6+. If you have the 6+ and not the 6-star, obviously just invert them and you are going to be absolutely fine. On stage 2, we're going to use the Super EX of the 6+. And the reason we're going to do that is to give ourselves a full board of orbs. We're going to activate the EX of our Gear 5, so we bypass the barrier, and then we're in for a hunky-dory time. This particular Sanji that came out for the 10th anniversary, he has the ability to remove burn, which is awesome. Plus, if you hit 2 perfects, he's then going to apply an increased damage taken that will go through full immunity on the next turn, which is awesome. Oh, does it go through a full immunity? Maybe it doesn't go through full immunity. Either way, he removes the burn. Like, it's fine. It's fine. On the final stage, we are going to remove the poison with Chopper. If you guys don't have 6+ Chopper, don't stress. Like, you can use the regular 6-star Chopper. He is going to rotate the poison orbs into matching and remove the poison. Remember, you will be below 50% HP, so that's actually gonna hurt you. You can obviously remove the healing, convert it to damage, which is great if you have him 6+, but again, that's not going to matter because you just need to remove the poison. With the combination of the Gear 5s, you can bypass Special Reverse, Bind, Despair, so that's all covered, and it works really, really nicely. Not only that, you bypass those barriers, but because you remove the poison, and you're below 50% HP, you are going to trigger the Interrupt, and that's where Momo comes in. He's going to be the attack booster for the team, as well as end of turn damage. So if you guys have the 6+ Luffy, you can use Momo as a support, and then you could run something else. But with the team anyway, look, you have an attack boost, you have color affinity, you have an orb boost, you have a conditional buff. You could just, like I said, run a whole bunch of other characters that are going to give you some other sort of buff to sort of bypass what you need to. You could honestly just like not worry about bringing Sanji and then bring another character here to give more buffs, and then just not hit perfects for stage 2, and then just use Chopper to remove the burn as well. But like I said, whatever works for you guys, and hopefully these teams help you guys out, because like this KIZUNA situation is just getting more dire and more dire and more dire. But remember, this is a regular KIZUNA and utilize your friends list and your alliance members to your advantage to save your potions. But that's going to wrap up the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one.